It's the governor versus the president.
First it was, this is a hoax. Then it was, this is just like the flu. This will go away in a few days.
There's a governor, I hear him complaining all the time. Pritzker.
4 days, Governor Pritzker criticized the president's handling of the pandemic. Now President Trump is responding. Good evening. I'm Jim Williams, live in the newsroom. First, an update on the pandemic in Illinois. The number of COVID-19 cases in our state has now surpassed 11,000. That includes 31 new deaths. President Trump announces more N95 masks and ventilators are headed to the hardest hit states, including Illinois. Also today, the governor announcing that the state will cover emergency child care for those on the front lines and essential workers who remain on duty throughout this crisis. That decision came as the governor was embroiled in a war of words with the president. CBS 2's Mike Puccinelli is live at the Thompson Center with details of this dispute. Mike?
Jim, the governor entered his 28th straight daily news conference today wearing a mask for the very first time. He then promptly took it off and proceeded to lambaste the federal government for failing to provide the life-saving equipment he says we so desperately need. The most powerful man in Illinois and the most powerful man in the world are no longer pulling their rhetorical punches.
I hear him complaining all the time.
Governor Pritzker was complaining today because he says the president's lack of leadership is partly responsible for Illinois border states like Iowa failing to enact stay-at-home orders. And Missouri only did so days ago.
Unfortunately, they have been listening to President Trump and his advice. And his advice has been, first it was, this is a hoax. Then it was, this is just like the flu. This will go away in a few days.
And he says gubernatorial lack of action in neighboring states puts Illinoisans living along those borders at risk. East St. Louis is one area where the COVID-19 caseload is rising fast.
You can see there is a hotspot of people who are getting coronavirus, who are getting sicker and in the hospital, who are near St. Louis.
But he says border state governors are getting more serious in lockstep with the president.
I think now that he is taking it seriously, many of them have moved toward more stringent orders.
But the president says it's Governor Pritzker who's failed to lead the people of Illinois.
He's not able to do what you're supposed to be able to do as a governor. He has not performed well.
And he says the McCormick Place Hospital is being built not because of the governor, but in spite of him.
We're building a 2,500-bed hospital in McCormick Place. That's the big convention center in Chicago. And we're helping to staff it and probably will end up staffing it because he's not able.
But Pritzker seemed to echo an Associated Press investigation that ripped into the administration for wasting months before placing bulk orders in mid-March for ventilators, N95 masks, and other personal protective equipment.
And so my criticism has been the lateness of the policies decisions that have been made by the leaders, and therefore the lateness of any help that we have gotten.
Now, the governor says he requested 4,000 ventilators from the feds and received just 450. The president says 600 more are on the way right now. That, as the governor says, he expects the number of COVID-19 cases to peak in the state just after the middle of the month. Reporting live outside the Thompson Center, Mike Puccinelli, CBS 2 News. Jim?
Mike, thank you.